this week of Makeover Monday. Really excited to talk to you. I'm a little bit frazzled because I'm just kind of rushing from one meeting to the next. So, with that being said, let me switch on my screen share. I'm doing this solo on a single screen, so I won't be able to monitor the chat all that easily. But do let me know if you're there. Say hello, and yeah, let's get into it. So, Makeover Monday this week. Actually, let's have a look at the data set. I know that Andy had his Watch Me Viz earlier in the week, and let's just quickly familiarize ourselves. Yes, he mentioned this. Why some MLB pitchers are abandoning the fastball. So we're looking at baseball and a bunch of dudes throwing balls. There's a chart, I guess. This might be the one. Okay, so it used to be a clear majority of pitches used to be fastballs, and that seems to be going down. There seems to be a change in tactics. Let's see what the community created. That one, I don't know what it's about. Let's have a look. Christopher Nino. The baseball picture helps because I don't even have to look at the... Okay. The URL doesn't work. I'm going to move on to the next one. And this is by Momo. What's the name? Oh, it doesn't say. Tamabel. Don't know who this is. My recommendation actually would be, if you create a profile on Tableau Public, to put your real name in there, because it makes it easier for people to find you. Okay, let's get into it. And Major League Baseball pitch types. Is it a pitch type? Is that what it's called? I genuinely don't know. To me, pitch type immediately makes me think of music. But I guess I'm just not somebody who, watches baseball. But then again, yeah, I just don't know. Is pitch type the right term? It doesn't really tell me a whole lot. I think there is a story in the changes over time that you explored in your chart. So maybe that could be the title. So there is, I guess, a baseball player person icon on the left side there. I think that's not really necessary because it doesn't really add anything. It's quite small. It's very abstract. Like, it's not that easy to see. It could also be somebody holding, like a box of McDonald's fries. If you include a icon, make sure you have the right to use it, but also make it like really clear for the topic. So it says a clear majority of pitches used to be fastballs, which is exactly the same title as in the original chart. What does that mean? So it says it used to be. Okay, so what is it now? Like, what is it now? And I think an area chart makes it a little bit hard, like a stacked area chart makes it a little bit hard to say what is now the new thing. It looks a bit like it's maybe a slider, like they have increased cutter. Curveball seems to be fairly steady, and changeup as well. I don't know. But because, so the very top line, I don't know what that is, the knuckleball and fastball, they're the only ones that have a flat top or bottom. So they're the only ones that have a flat baseline, which means everything else, the shape of this slider section depends on the shape of the fastball and the changeup. So that makes it a little bit hard to tell how much has it actually increased. But on the surface, it looks like slider is the more common one now. Well, it is more common now than it used to be. So if you say it used to be like this, my first question is, so what is it today? And that is not being answered in this visualization, and I think that should be answered. And I also don't think, like, you've got the 20-year difference. It's cool, right? Like, I can see it, but because the chart in the middle takes up so much of my visual field, I don't really see the difference because there's this big chunk in the middle, and I want the explanation. I don't want to have to do the thinking myself. I want somebody to tell me. Okay, then let's have a look at Maya's. Feedback is appreciated. Let's do some feedback for Maya Slidell. MLB pitches getting slower. Okay, so that's an interesting title, because it's a question, and I hope the question will be answered. I quite like the style with this graph paper background. But I would then make all the charts transparent so that they don't look so stuck on. I really like these little boxes of the 4-seam fastball, 2-seam fastball, whatever that is, slider and cutter. Okay, I had no idea there was all this stuff. But of course, there has to be something that differentiates the average person like me throwing a ball for the dog and somebody at the MLB level throwing a ball. So feedback on those, just visually, is make sure that the gaps are the same distance in between. We would see that whether the background is white or not, but with this graph paper, we can even count the number of boxes in between, so I would make them nice and even. Okay, so we have these pictures with the pictures and the arrows, but I don't know which one is which. So I'm assuming, because there's 4 different types of pictures on the left, and there are 4 pictures. Are they corresponding? And if so, which one is which? Okay, so it used to be fastballs. Okay. And today, I really want to know. Okay, so fastballs have decreased, slider pitches are up. Okay, so that is like the big conclusion from that chart on the left, and I want to know that, make it more obvious. And then, okay, yeah, that would be my feedback there. Quick. Oh, no one on the chat today. All good. Good to have people tuned in. And then we have Alex Wallachek. Let's have a look at Alex's viz. Close those tabs. Fastballs lost some of their appeal. Okay, so MLB is probably known to most English-speaking people. If I went to Germany and I asked anyone on the street what is MLB, I guarantee you 95% of people wouldn't have a clue. Because if you said Major League Baseball, they probably would know. But if you just said MLB, they wouldn't know. I would probably call out the fact that this is about baseball at some point, and that it's Major League Baseball. So just not assuming that your audience knows, because this is a very specific topic as well. The type of pitch, like that's, even if people know MLB is baseball, they probably don't know any of the stuff. Clearly, I'm a good example. Make it easier for people to understand what you're talking about by just stating the obvious, or what seems obvious to you. What is MLB? What is a fastball? What is a pitch? And it, you don't have to say, oh, a pitch is when somebody throws the ball, but you could say, pitchers, throw different types of balls, pitches, however you describe that. But I would just give people all the foundations. And I think I mentioned this before. People don't often like asking questions because they don't want to look stupid. But then we leave people, if we don't answer their question, or if we don't address the information gaps, and of course we don't know necessarily what they know or what they don't know, but we can make some assumptions and just explaining any kind of jargon, any technical terms. Because if we do that, they will get more out of the visits we've built. If we don't do it, chances are either they're like, I don't get it, and they just move on, or they feel stupid, which is even worse, because it means that we've made them feel uncomfortable because we haven't shared enough information, but they kind of attribute it to themselves not knowing. So I would say, share more information. But overall, I like the viz, and I wonder if you even, do you need the other? If it's just about sliders and fastballs, could you just have 2 lines even, not even the area stacked? Or you could have the area stacked, but the other distracts a little bit. But I find in the stacked area, like I said before, the increase of the sliders is a little bit harder to see, but I do like it. I would probably just say, you could get rid of the other and just have this go up to 60-something%. Okay. Oh, this seems to have jumped back. Okay. I'm going to see if there's other types of. Okay, we should probably have a look at this Mito. All right. Okay, hopefully I'm back. Can people hear me? Maybe I saw Brittany couldn't hear, and the stream froze, and I couldn't respond because apparently I was offline. So I just want to double check before I proceed. If somebody can just say yes, I'm back. Excellent. Okay, let me quickly set up this screen share, and then we're going to be back in business. We have a slightly rural internet connection here, which is supposed to be better, but it's not. And it doesn't seem to be our house. It seems to be the provider. And Andy's going to chase them up. So anyhow, we are back. And here is a visualization by Mami Yasuki. Major League Baseball. Okay, great. I love that it's spelled out. Fastball decline. That bit I don't love so much because what's fastball decline? It could just be, there's a shift in how people play, something like that. So quite a dramatic drop, and it looks like the axis does not start at 0, which makes it look more dramatic because that's 50%, that's 64%. So quite misleading, because the others have different axes. They seem to be synchronized between those other 6, but they're very different from the first one. So that's my main feedback. Don't mislead the audience. That's previous week. Let me see. Okay, Carl Erickson. Okay, he's done something fun. And I'm glad that everyone can hear me again. Sinking. Oh, hang on. That's the other tab. There we go. Sinking fastball, the decline of the fastball in Major League Baseball. I quite like that because while it doesn't explain what the fastball is, it does kind of make me think in that direction. And the icon used with the line chart in a very clever way kind of shows the whole throwing motion or pitching motion. Over the past 20 years, the fastball went from accounting for nearly 2/3 of pitches thrown. Pitches thrown, I think that's good enough. I don't need an explanation of what a pitch is if somebody says somebody throws a pitch, because baseball is enough in my consciousness that I can make the connection. In Major League Baseball, under 1/2. So 2/3 to under 1/2. Now, I have this theory, correct me if I'm wrong. I think Americans love fractions. People talk in quarter miles, eighths of an inch. Like, my brain personally doesn't work like that. I can't do eighth of an inch because I have to convert the inch to centimeters and then divide 2.5 centimeters into 8 pieces and then know how much 1/8 is or 3/8 of an inch or whatever it is. But if that's easy enough for you to understand, that's cool. 2/3, yeah, I kind of get it. Under 1/2, less than 50%, I think, is easier to understand, or less than half rather than under 1/2. I think that just sounds more complicated than it needs to be. So if you are team fraction or team percentage, let me know in the chat. I'd be really curious. So this is cool. I like that. The fastball drops, and then what are pitchers throwing instead? So it shows, I guess, so if I sum these up, I get to really not much. These I should sum up. That's not what I want to just know the total. So we've got 7, 10. Yeah. So it's about that difference of the fastball. I just wanted to see, does it actually add up? And it does just about. So I really like that he's made it very simple for me to understand. One declines, and here are the biggest gainers, so to speak. So we've got the slider and the cutter, and then a little bit the curveball. So yeah, I like that. I think this is really cool, and I like the baseball style font as well. Okay, and let's have a look at this. Circular bar chart, I think. Pitches from the 2022 season of the US Major League Baseball. US Major Baseball League. Should it be Major League Baseball or Major Baseball League? I don't know. What's the league called? Because if it's MLB, it's Major League Baseball. but is it the Major Baseball League? I don't know. So this is how many of each were thrown. But what happened to the fastball? So there's seam, slider, changeup, curveball, cutter, and splitter. But what about the fastball? I thought that was super popular. So, okay, so what's the difference between the stuff on the outside and the stuff on the inside? Hover over the small baseballs to see the explanation. So can you do seam and cutter is fastball, curveball and slider is breaking ball, and splitter and changeup is off speed? Is that how it works? That's how it works, isn't it? So that's, if I do the numbers in my head, yeah, that looks to be, but that is me guessing and just doing it based on the numbers and the colors. But it would be really helpful to explain that, to say, like, because it says pitches. So 3 major pitching types, but then what do you call those 6 on the outside? Are these 6 also pitches? And then are the 3 in the middle a category? And the other 2 in each are like subcategories, or what's the deal? That's what I would like to know. Chocolates. Okay. I think you can guess what my main feedback is on this visualization. Red and green. Let's not use red and green in combination. Major League Baseball pitch types. So it should be league, should be with a capital L. There's a decrease in fastball share. Yeah. Sometimes, we get data and we don't understand the topic. And I've had many of those. And what I would suggest, because this can happen at work as well, not just a Makeover Monday, you will get stuff where you're like, yeah, I don't really understand this. You can't just then visualize the data and kind of hope for the best. It's really important to do a bit of research. And I say that, and I do acknowledge there might be some, language barriers, but there is a decrease in fastball share of MLB. To me, doesn't sound like this author has truly understood what the topic was about. And maybe that's just I'm going to take this snippet from the article or the original and copy it in mine and hope for the best. So I always recommend do a bit of research. So you're like, okay, what is this about? And then produce your viz in your own words and make sure it's clear. There's no explanation. This is just visualizing the data, but this isn't telling me anything. Not a story, but also I don't know what all of these things are. I mean, I've now learned in the last 20 minutes that these are different types of pitches. But if this was the first viz I'd looked at, I'd be like, I don't know what you're talking about. So don't leave the audience hanging. It's actually better to not do a viz than to do a viz that makes people feel like they know less than before. Okay, we've done line charts now a lot. More line charts, makeovers. Oh, it's getting a bit personal here. Business. Okay, that's older stuff. Okay, so I'll keep going. Maybe October 24th, that was 2 days ago. Okay, maybe we didn't really have much. Wow, there's a lot of actual makeovers having invaded our space on the internet. We've done the stacked area chart. Okay. I'm just kind of scrolling it to see if there's any. Yeah, looks like there is no more visitors with the topic. I've gone to latest, so it shouldn't filter out anyone. But why don't we have a look at what Andy created? So a bunch of stuff. Oh, now I need to find his. Okay, here we go. Oh, now, God, the ads. Okay, here's his viz. I want to look at this on Tableau. Is that how it works? Okay, it's kind of small. How has the percentage of pitches changed since 2011? Where's your title, Andy? How make this big? Oh, this is terrible user experience. What is going on? That is awful. We're just gonna. There's just so much going on this page. Okay, we'll just go away, Google. So we'll just look at it here. I'm just going to double check that you can all see that. Okay, yeah, you can. How has the percentage of pitches changed since 2011? It looks like he didn't create a proper title. Like, percentage of pitches of what? Click a season to see how other seasons compare. Where do I click a season? Did he not finish? I don't know. Yeah. So, well, what I like, this is weird. There's like zeros on the axis. This is kind of strange. There's something broken. I need to tell him that. But what I quite like is how really obvious it is that the fastball has decreased in popularity, and it looks like the baseline is whatever this looks like. Oh yeah, 2011. And how the others have gone up. It's nice and simple, but yeah, I would like to know that this is about baseball, what these things are, and the proper axis. The axis is broken. And I also don't know where I can click on season, because it's not that. Yeah. I'm not sure. But yeah, I think that's it from me this week. Oh, a slow Viz week. Iron Viz deadline approaching. Oh, good point. Yeah, why is the y-axis 0? I don't know. I think that's a display error of some sort. Maybe something dynamic that's not happening properly. And interesting, Brittany, that this rendering in those little pop-ups hasn't really worked. Click on the line. Well, we'll skip it for now. We'll just I'll just give Andy some feedback to update his Viz. But yeah, if you're participating in Iron Viz, good luck for the feeder competitions and all that stuff. Hopefully, this feedback, I know that if you're tuning in every week, you will hear me say the same things, and I've said those same things probably since about 2017, 2018, when we really started doing this review, and I will probably say them until the day I keel over and die, because they are important basic stuff and they just need to be said, and it's totally okay. And I will not judge anyone who makes a mistake or doesn't get it right or doesn't know. That's why I'm here, to help people kind of learn those things. And I know that sometimes it comes across maybe as a bit blunt or direct, but the only reason is I'm trying to go quite fast to cover as much as possible. So always think of it as I'm trying to help. It's not a personal attack in any way. It's feedback on a viz you created with the intention of learning. So never take it personally. I know that's easier said than done. I personally don't really love receiving critical feedback either. It's not easy, but it'll make you a better analyst over time and better at visualizing data for any kind of audience, whether they know the topic or they don't. I think it really helps. So hopefully you'll tune in again next week, probably about the same time. Looking forward to speaking to you then. Have a great evening. Take care. Bye-bye.